Welcome to the DO Boxing Show. I'm your host, Damien Okposio, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the show. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about bravado, confidence, cockiness, and just basically branding. So a lot of my topics nowadays get made or get determined off of the interaction and feedback that I'm getting from people, which I always appreciate, criticism included. I like feedback because that's how you grow, and the reality often is how you're perceived, not necessarily what's going on. So I like it. So one of the feedbacks, or some feedback that I've gotten is about one of the fighters that I have, and he's a very outgoing guy, and recently he's been talking about nicknames, and some people would think, why would he be thinking about nicknames at such an early process? And one of the things I would say about that is it's I think making a name for yourself, having a little bravado is a good thing. Cockiness, no, but there's a fine line between cockiness and confidence. And Mayweather was definitely criticized by that, and I'm not comparing my fighter to Mayweather. I'm just saying that it's one of those traits that people love, and they love to hate it, and which is good because it generates interest. You don't want a sport of people BSing, but it's also part of what makes a sport interesting, what attracts people to know about what's going on if they hear names and if they hear people. So yeah, like my fighter's he's outgoing. I like that. The fact that he has a different personality to mine. I'm more of a kind of a conservative guy, and he's a little bit more flamboyant and outgoing. I think it's awesome. I think that, and I understand where people are coming from, but the fact that I'm getting the communication with regards to him makes me excited, because I know that people are going to be watching to see whether he's got the goods. And while that creates a lot of pressure on his shoulders, excuse me, it also brings interest, and that is actually the whole plan, is to bring interest to the sport, even more so than the people within boxing, because they're going to start to see him on a regular basis, but more for the outside people when they start hearing about him, or people that aren't fans of the sport, just curious to see what this flamboyant guy is all about. Does he have the goods that he's talking about? Does he live up to his nickname? And that's the narrative I'm trying to make. And sometimes when you go against the norm, that's what happens. People are wondering what's going on. And there's that aspect of fighters out there that say something's coming, or say they're coming out of retirement, or numerous things that never materialize. But again, that's all part of the game. And the ones that produce the goods, and a la Mayweather, and I'm using him because he's a big example that everybody knows, they're the ones that get the prize at the end of the day. So I'm excited to see where things go. I'm excited to see him live up to his nickname as much as everybody else. And the one thing I know about him is that's him naturally. And when it's a natural state for someone, to me, it's a lot more interesting and a lot more entertaining than if it's something that they're putting on or trying to be. I think that as far as branding goes, again, if I was giving advice to someone, whether it's a fighter or a manager, I would say, let your fighter's natural personality shine through. And if they're a quiet guy, that doesn't mean you still can't promote them. You can just accentuate what it is that they do well. And, maybe the manager is the person that talks about them or brags for them. But again, it's part of marketing for the game. And that's just as important as racking up the wins, because you can rack up the wins in obscurity, but that doesn't translate necessarily into money if you don't have the right connections or the right backing behind you. And the people that are in the game know that. So thanks. Keep the questions and comments coming. Keep the criticisms coming. I like it, man. A lot of people think that I hate people or that I won't work with people, but the fact of the matter is I don't hold any grudges against anybody. If somebody does something that I perceive is wrong to me, then I just move on from there, and usually I just don't deal with the people. But anybody that people thought I've had an issue with, and those people have contacted me later on, I'm always open to talking with anybody and discussing, especially business, with anybody. So again, as I said before, keep the comments coming, keep the criticisms coming. We love them, and hopefully we'll turn it into an issue. Remember, you can ask us any questions related to boxing by sending us a message through Twitter at DOKPOSIO, through email okposio@hotmail.com, and you can subscribe through YouTube to get the DO Boxing Show every day. Thanks again for tuning into another episode. Hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll catch you on the next one.